We're back, and we're back with a new show. Last week, we finished up our season on Derek, and it was an interesting season. It was a fun season. Simon is still traumatized. And he is very much enjoying the gift basket that I bought him, and he's fine. You don't need to be worried about him. But I had a brief conversation with Simon about what drama we would cover next, because there was a lot of drama in my life. For those of you who may not be aware, I'm not exactly the tidiest queen. There is a drama, and this drama includes an email folder, 2 folders full of receipts, and a diagram. And when I told Saff that, she was like, get me on that show. I want to be on that show. I want to know all of the tea. So I don't know how long this series is going to be, but I am very, very excited. I unfortunately do not have a picture of Saff anywhere, so I can't use that, but I do have a wonderful picture of her on my computer that I will put in the background of this video so that we can have that same communication that me and Simon did. I will, once I get my hands on a printer, print out a picture of Saff, because I would like her to be involved in more of my videos. I love holding my friends hostage. I'm really, really excited to dive in. If you like these videos, please stick around, because it will be very, very interesting. And if you don't like these videos, I guess I'll see you in another one. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, grab a drink, grab a blanket. It's time to get messy. Hello?
Hello?
Hey!
Hey.
Saff's joined the party.
I am ready. I've got juice. I've got magic stars.
So I want to see how quickly you get sick of this, because I feel like Simon, initially he was like really, really excited to do the videos, and then like by episode 3 he was like,
okay, I one more and that's it.
I feel like I really don't have much of a limit.
I don't think you'll have much of a limit either, to be fair. But for the, I don't know, for the safety of this bitch, and also not to pull her into notoriety of any kind, we are going to be calling her Brittany. Not for any particular reason other than that's what I've renamed her in all of my fictional work. The other thing is that because all the receipts are achronological, I think where I'm going to start it, and these emails are from 2013, by the way.
Like, they're 7 years old.
So I do want to say I'm going to start where I, the mediator in this entire exchange, the reason why I have all the receipts and I have all the emails is because I was the mediator in the entire drama. I always end up becoming the mediator, and then I end up exposing everything because I'm petty. We're going to start where I get involved, and then we'll dive into the receipts, because if I feel like I dive into the receipts now, you're not going to understand what the hell is happening. So the context of the drama is that I was part of a writers community. Saff is aware of this. Most of my friends are aware of this. I was part of a writers community, and, you know, I joined because I had, like, it was the only kind of outlet that I had. I couldn't really draw because it was haram, or dance because it was haram, or like do music because it was haram. So I used to write. I used to write a fair bit, and that was my only creative outlet. So I joined a writers community, and it was fun for like 5 seconds. And we ended up having quite a few dramas. This is one of the more major ones, but this drama has subplots. And that's where we are, and we're going to be talking mainly around this character called Brittany, who did a lot of shady and questionable shit. Okay, so the first sort of message that I have in this folder that I've very, very endearingly named Bitch Face is this notification that I got from the website of like the last message that she sent me, and I put that in extreme quotation marks because it was not, she's still on the site. Is that making me look bad that I destroyed someone's career?
I mean, questionable.
She so deserved it. I think that before I dive into this, I do want to also kind of disclaim, like, a lot of people through the years, like people who know about this drama, people who don't, people who are friends of this person, have approached me and said,
why do you still have these, like, receipts and screenshots and things like that?
I don't really get rid of things. I'm sentimental in the worst possible way. It really, really does just entertain me sometimes to look back and think, oh my god, this drama was so dumb. But I put a lot of time and effort into it. Like, this drama lasted maybe a whole year. This is from August of 2013, this first email, and I'm pretty sure this bled into like July of 2014. And it just went on and on and on, and we're just gonna dive into it. She abused so many of our good graces. So this is like her I like to call it like a cyber suicide, like I'm leaving the site kind of message.
Oh, okay.
And she goes, I care about you so much, so it really pains me to leave. I want you to know my reasons though. I'm leaving because I've been forced off, pure and simple. I've been cyberbullied off by Movellians. That's what we used to call ourselves. By Movellians I once called my friends. My ex-friends ganged up on me and reported my competition entry, even though I did nothing wrong, and it got taken down. They did this a week before the closing date, so I wouldn't be able to re-enter. So I wouldn't be able to re-enter with another Movella or story. They claimed it was the right thing to do as
Chantel,
which was her real life friend, which we will get into,
Chantel,
didn't want it published. Then they ganged up on me to take down another one of my stories. And if I didn't, they'd report them too. So I had no choice. I wanted to keep them up as they're two of the very first fan fictions, and 99% of the readers wanted me to carry on. I had plans for a great ending and some trademark gory fight scenes, but they're all never gonna be used now. If I enter another competition on here, my entry will be reported so I don't win. If I go on the forum, I'll be told to go away, or words to that effect. If I publish another Movella, they'll make me delete it. I'm being controlled by them, basically, when I called them my friends. But if they want me gone, then I have to go. And if I don't, they'll just report me until I get kicked off. It's a catch-22 situation. I'm so sorry for disappointing you. Just got a Laura Lee flashback.
So sorry for disappointing you.
Sorry, I'll continue and then you can give a comment. This is one message, by the way.
One, oh my god.
This isn't an email, this is a message she left me on the site. This is like a DM. I was crying all night for 2 weeks, and I'm crying right now, as you're such a good friend and I didn't want to let you down, but I did, so that makes me a shit friend. I don't deserve your forgiveness, as I was a bloody coward and a weakling who should have stood up for herself but couldn't. Look, listen, I don't know what I did to deserve the company of these people. Like, I really
I don't
don't.
know how you got there, man.
2013.
It's so dramatic, like.
So what are your first thoughts?
She's a very dramatic woman.
She...
the whole coward thing, like, man, like, just breathe. It's really not that deep. Although it's kind of peak that, like, she was really nearly finished and then she got reported. Yeah, we'll get into that. So right now, you're feeling sorry for her, and so am I. So I ask her how she's been, and we're just conversing through email. So she sends me an email back, and she says, terrible. I lost everyone, relapsed back into burning, and I was forced to leave Movellas. Girl, she's really going through it.
The next email that I have is, I wrote a book for a contest, originally titled Out of Hand, inspired by the LID incident. Okay, let me dive into what the LID incident. I need to give you the backstory. So the LID incident is where she threatened to kill herself and pretended that 2 accounts on the site were 2 of her friends when really she was controlling all 3 sites.
Oh my god.
All 3 accounts. So she was pretending that she was going to run out into the middle of a road or something like that. and she was going to run in front of a car, and then these other 2 accounts that she had open on 2 other browsers were like saying, no, don't do that. Like, she was fully pretending that she was going to kill herself, and she got caught. She got caught in the act because one of our mutual friends or users, she found these 2 people. She had stupidly named these accounts after like real life people. So she found these 2 people on Facebook, and she was talking to them because she was worried about Brittany. She was worried about this person because she was threatening to kill herself. So she went and found these people on Facebook and started talking to them, and then they clocked that she had essentially stolen their identities and like assumed their personalities onto another site. So they created their own accounts. They came onto the site and they like debunked the whole thing, and it was a fucking shit show. So that's the incident that she's talking about. Okay, let me finish reading the email. Inspired by the LID incident, but twisted up so much that it may as well not be about it. Every name was changed, every detail was changed, and it was barely recognizable. Yet Chantel, which is one of her real world people that she knows that she pretended to be, found out and told me to delete it, which I did for a few days. I changed the name to Paper Games and republished it, hoping she wouldn't find out. Yet she did, and showed up on the forums and got shot down. It looked like it was going to do so well and might even win until about 2 weeks before the deadline. ICG, which is another user, messaged me on Facebook saying I should really take it down as Chantel didn't want it up. I left it as I didn't know what to think until she commented on a mumble, which was like our wall, like our Facebook wall on this site, telling me to take it down. I explained my reasons for keeping it up, but still ICG said that as Chantel didn't want me to publish it, I shouldn't publish it. I thought she was just going to leave it. How wrong was I? A week before the deadline, I got an email from Movellas asking if it was really based on real events, as several Movellians had expressed concern about it. I told them that it was, but I also told them that the events and explained how much I twisted it. Movellas still told me not to publish it though a week before the deadline. It took me 2 weeks to write Paper Games, even staying up all night to write it several nights. There would be no way I could enter again in a week. They basically ruined my chances of winning by ganging together to stab me in the back. I thought they were my friends, but clearly I was wrong. Naturally, I was pissed off at being stabbed in the back, and I spiraled back into burning myself because of it. But there was more to come. She's so...
how old is this person?
She's so dramatic. I don't know, she was about maybe... like, we were all like 14, 15, 16 at this time.
Oh my god.
ICG messaged me on Facebook and said, frankly, I don't regret the Paper Games thing. It was wrong and you know it. I didn't care if you won or lost. The competition meant nothing to me. Just the personal rights of Chantel and her boyfriend Henry, which you were violating. We had a bit of an argument, then she crossed the line by telling me to take down two other novels that also included these people. That crossed the line and we had a huge argument, ending with me blocking her. I was worried though, what if she reported those 2 novels behind my back? Like what she did with Paper Games. I'd thought about it by myself, talked to a few Movellians and ended up deleting several Movellas, then letting my fans know I was leaving. I was forced off by ICG and all the others who ganged up on me. I've relapsed back into burning myself. I'm thinking about committing suicide again and I've got nowhere to turn. Something that we learned with the incident that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Right. So what we knew about Brittany, let me paint you a picture. What we knew about Brittany before these 2 other people stepped in and told us everything was that she was Jewish. She lived with her mother and her sister who were awful to her, and she had like this constant sort of spiral of self-harming and suicidal ideation, like all of that stuff. And at some point in the timeline, she like went into foster care, and because her parents were abusive or something like that. And these 2 people who exposed her because she was just identity thieving them, these 2 people came up and they revealed everything. Like, they've seen her arms, they've seen her legs, she's got no marks on them. Her mum's the sweetest person in the world.
Oh my god!
Her sister is not even older than her. She has a sister who's younger than her. And she made this all up. And she's still, like, fronting. Like, this is all all of these emails are post this incident.
And not into other people's lives. No, should be a brilliant writer.
It was just... it was just ridiculous. And then, like, I never read this story, but because I was friends with a lot of people in the community who had read this story, I don't know how you can be inspired by an incident and then change all the names and all of the events. And then also for you to take something where you literally took advantage of two people, turn that into a story where you could, for personal gain, like you win prizes with these competitions, and then they don't want you to do that and you can't respect their wishes. Like, it's... And the other thing was that I wasn't one of the moderators because I was like the little rebel of that community. I was like really fucking dumb, but I was in contact with a lot of like the ambassadors and a lot of the top people who like judge the competitions and stuff. And I asked them like, hey, did that story actually have a good chance of winning that competition? Because the competition wasn't rated on how liked the story was. It was rated on what the judges thought of it. And they were like, that story didn't even make it in the top 10, so I don't know what she's on about. She's being really, really overdramatic, and she's still fronting like everything she said hasn't already been debunked by saying like, oh, I've gotten back into burning myself and I've gotten back into like thinking about suicide. It's really like disgusting how she does that. But at this point, like, I really don't want to, as always, I really didn't want to get involved in this drama because I'd been involved in 2 dramas before this, and it was just like, this is too much. This whole like LID incident, like I wasn't really in on that either, really. I just sort of watched it happen. It was in the periphery of my vision, but it kind of gave me an advantage because I wasn't involved in that. She felt safe enough to talk to me. And at this point, I really wanted to sympathize with her because I kind of still believed that she was like not okay, because there's no way all this can happen and like she can do all this and you're like okay, you know. I was still worried about her, so I was still like just trying to glean what the fuck was going on. And I respond to her by saying, I'm going to be honest with you because I care and I don't want you to think that I've been pulling the wool over your eyes. I know what's happened. There have been a number of Movellians who have already told me about it. The reason why I asked you is because I wanted your side of the story. I had tried to get it out of her then, like, online boyfriend, we'll call him Matthew. He's a dickhead, but anyway. But he wasn't helpful. Brittany, I know you worked hard on that story. I know because you always do. And I know how agonizing it is when you can't have things the way you want them to be. But your friends did what they thought was right. I know you feel that the story was cloaked enough, but it probably didn't seem that way to an outsider. They haven't backstabbed you, Brittany. They were only telling you to do the right thing, because that's what friends do. And the thing about the other 2 novels that you were worried about being reported and deleted, I've been made aware by ICG that she only just wanted you to alter them, not to remove them.
Oh my. So she's basically just...
She's just being a damn drama queen. Because I was in contact with all these other people, like we were all friends. Like, who do you think you're talking to? And then I said, like, because I was trying to bring her back, I was like, okay, stop being so fucking weird. They miss you, Brittany. That's what they told me. That's why they told me to have a chat with you. I'm aware that all of them became very frustrated and hot-headed, and it was wrong of them to be impatient, but they really regret losing you. They care about you. Weren't they the people you went to when you were being bullied at school? Weren't they the ones that intervened when you became suicidal? Weren't they the ones that accepted you back when you made all those accounts? They really, really care about you, and so do I. You have me to turn to. Never think that I won't care or can't be bothered. Please don't burn. Just have a think on it. And that's all I wrote. Like, that just trying to be as like mum as possible. She goes, I've burned already. All my old wounds are now open again, and I have several new ones. ICG even admitted she's on Chantel's side. I'm trying to change all the names, it's really difficult. So I clearly can't trust her. All the others, I can't trust them one bit, not one bit. If they were my friends, they'd have minded their own business and left well alone. It wasn't anything to do with them. They only knew about the incident because I told them it was. They could have warned me that they were going to report it first instead of just doing it. Plus, it was pretty suspicious how they all waited until they knew I wouldn't have any time to enter again. I tried going to them. Turns out that each time I did, I was thought of as selfish and attention seeking. I've been suicidal so many times in my time there, yet they did nada. All that happened was that I wanted to take my life more. According to what ICG sent me, she didn't accept me one bit. If they cared, they'd have left well alone. It was nothing to do with them, and they got rid of me. There's no point in them missing me or regretting losing me, as it's their fault I left anyway. I thought I had friends. I guess I was wrong.
Oh my god.
Look, okay, I want you to imagine for a second, like, pretend this isn't online, okay? We have a group of friends, let's say a group of, like, 15 friends, and one of them is being a dick, right? And I'm the friend that's kind of in the sidelines, like, I mind my own business, but I'm here for the tea and I go in and out of the group. And this group, all of them are talking to me and they're all like, hey, can you make sure she's okay? Hey, she's a dickhead, but make sure she's okay and she's not hurting herself. Like, they're all talking to me and telling me she's a bitch. She did this bitchy thing, but we're really scared that she's going to do something. And since you haven't been involved all of this time, we need you to go and talk to her. Like, they're all 14 fucking one of them are standing there and they're telling me I need to talk to her. So I'm talking to her and she's the loudest of the bunch. These running monologues. We're only like 2 or 3 emails in, girl. Like
oh my god. Why is that like the level of drama happening at 14? Like when I was 14, I don't even remember it. Like it was a chill time. That's all I remember.
This got so far that I have made lifelong friends of the moderators of that site.
Oh my god.
This drama went that far. This one drama. So I respond to her and I'm trying to be, again, just as level-headed, manipulative as possible. Just stop being a fucking bitch and come back, right? And I'm telling her, I'm sorry to hear that, Brittany. Is there anything I can do to cheer you up? No, Brittany, friends tell each other what they are doing is wrong when they are doing things wrong. They don't hide the truth from each other. If one is uncomfortable about something, they would tell the others. It's how friendships work. Me talking like I had friends in that time.
Your friends were...
But I'm also not wrong. Like, if you're fucking up, like, your true friends are gonna sit back and be like, bitch, what you doing? Like, stop. ICG said she was on Chantel's side because the things she was asking you to do was in Chantel's favor. But they all agree that Chantel is extremely vile in what she did to you. Like, Chantel was like a bully or something like that. I'm not sure of all the people that reported Paper Games, but this was something I reprimanded them all for, that they lost their call and that they jumped to report. And as to reporting it late, they were probably deciding whether they should or not. They did it because they thought you were wrong to post it, not because they were bent on making you drop out of the contest. They became very frustrated with you. That was why they appeared not to like you anymore. The moment was still in a heat, but let me tell you something. When I started talking to Lauren, the first thing she said to me was, I'm sorry I was mean to Brittany. They're human, Brittany. They make mistakes. We all do. It's in the very seed of our nature. I was 14 and this is deep. But humans also regret. I'm not saying that you should forgive them off and off. I'm saying that you should think about it. They do miss you. They do care about you. They were your friends. And if you ask me, they're willing to try and mend that friendship. Otherwise, why would they have come to me to have me talk to you?
How are you putting up with this shit? But like, it's too much drama to not be happening like in person. Like,
I know.
You've been up for hours.
The thing is, right, you know how I told you that I'm like the best person in a terrible situation because I don't panic?
Yeah.
That was me, essentially. Like, everyone else was just going on either like a fucking witch hunt, or they were all like, please bring her back, we're really worried about her. Like, it was these two very, very identifiable groups. All I know is that she's upset because her story's gone and everyone's reported it, and I don't understand why they reported it. Like, I'm pretty loyal, like, that's not something I would do. I didn't even read it. They were having me talk to her, and the thing is, right, I've always been a really patient person. I think that's become clear from my Derek series. I'm a very patient person with problematic people. Like, I put up with problematic people for a very, very long time because I enjoy giving people chances and then holding them accountable. This was one of those situations where I was just like worried about her because I spent quite a lot of time just like taking care of her before I realized there's nothing wrong with her. She's just like a psycho. Like, she just revels in romanticizing all these like really serious issues. She goes, "No, I'll be fine, but thanks for asking. There was nothing to be uncomfortable about. If Chantel had sued, I'd have been the one who got in trouble, not them. So there was no need." Imagine suing someone for an online story. If the takeaway is, from the last series and this one, I had no life before. That's the takeaway. And also, I have the patience of a saint.
I don't know how you do, because I've left that site. Gone, posted. That's it.
Anyway, if Chantel had sued, I'd have been the one who got in trouble, not them. So there was no need. If people had issues with others that aren't life-threatening, they're supposed to just get over it and not trouble others. It's how you make sure others won't think of you as a selfish attention seeker and you keep the friends you do have. Regardless of what they think of Chantel and what she did to me, they are still on her side. If they're on her side, they're certainly not on mine. I can't risk the threat of them teaming up with her to bring me down even more.
Sorry, team up. Like, what is this? What is this? We need tag team.
Oh my god. I wouldn't even put it past them to do that. After all, if they stabbed me in the back once, what's stopping them from doing it again? Laura could have said that to me herself instead of just telling me to call her a bitch, calling me a coward, insulting the quotes on my profile, backhanded apologies, rubbing salt into open wounds by showing me the winners of the competition after Paper Games was taken down, reporting it behind my back, calling me an attention seeker, and saying that I only attempted suicide for attention. Damn, girl, breathe. Like, no commas, nothing? Come on, you're a writer. It wouldn't have made any difference, but it would be better than all that. I can never forgive them. They ripped away the only piece of writing I could ever show anyone and ganged together behind my back to do it. They can miss me all they want, as I am not coming back. If they cared about me, they wouldn't have forced me off and got me to stop writing. They were my friends, but not anymore. They can try and mend it all they like, but it won't work. They came to you because they know I've seen through them and because I'm not talking to them. They had their chance and they blew it.
Oh my god.
I'm level-headed, by the way, for so many emails before I'm finally just like...
Before you're like a breaking point.
I respond to her and say, here's another aspect of friendship, Brittany. For friends, it doesn't have to be a matter that affects the whole group. It can simply be that because they were scared that you were going to get into some trouble that they spoke out, because they care. If they didn't, they wouldn't be your friends. To do the right thing, it doesn't have to be your business. You just do it. They were correcting you when you were wrong. They were advising you. Look at me being the voice of reason. I need this Faye to come guide me now.
Why?
They were advising you. Yes, they went to extremes that were rather brash and unnecessary, but the fact of the matter remains. They were just telling you that you weren't headed the right way. They haven't stabbed you in the back. They haven't suddenly fallen in line with Chantel. They were the same people who defended you when she was having a go. Sakura made her a fake, mocking Facebook account. Laura's ashamed of what she's done, and that's why she didn't come to you. And what do you mean it's the only legible piece of work you have to show? You're an extremely talented writer, but somehow I'm getting the vibe. Somehow I'm getting the vibe that you don't trust me.
Hey, is she nice?
So she responds. And again, like, her responses are like this. Like, she responds in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, right, banging out these fucking novels in emails. And she said she couldn't enter another thing in a week. Please, bitch, I seen you right. You could have entered another story if you really tried. Then why didn't they speak to me about it when I first published it instead of waiting? There's a difference between just doing the right thing and knowing when to. If they'd told me at the start, I wouldn't have minded as much, but instead, they waited until there was no chance of me entering again. Bitch, you had a week. You had a week. It's completely doable to write a story. I have seen you do that. Shut up! Shut up! Just wish I had taken this attitude with her at the time. That's what's really aggravated me. Plus, instead of just one of them reporting it, all of them did it, proving they ganged up behind my back and stabbed me in the back. Friends may care, but they don't backstab. People change sides though. Once it doesn't look like a good idea to be on one side, it's too easy to switch to the other. In this case, it's even easier. Plus, Chantal knows it was Sakura who made the Facebook account. She certainly isn't acting ashamed. She's acting like Miss I did nothing wrong when she was the one who called me a selfish attention seeker. It's the only piece I can show anyone. The other novels that I've written is technically slanderous. Another novel that I've written and the others are either fan fictions or me being weird. Paper Games was the only piece I was proud of. I'm worried that the others will find out what we're talking about. After all, I know the others told each other what I said to them, and I'm just panicking that the same thing could happen here. Did you get any of that? Like, that was just nonsense.
It doesn't make... There's no coherence.
There is no coherence because she doesn't like... She's like talking about one thing and then it just flows into another thing. I don't even know. Like, none of this flows. None of this is coherent. Why did I ever think that I could talk to this person?
I like, what's the time span of these as well?
This has been 3 days of emails.
Oh my...
3?
Oh my god.
4 days of emails.
That's not even... Why does it feel like it's been longer, but it's like...
You know when I get emails from work and they're like a sentence? Like, that's what you think of when you think of an email. When we sent emails back in that time, when I was 14 and in a writer's community, you did not send one-line emails. You waffled, like in a phone conversation. Like, Simon and Vicky, both of them are like screaming because I want to read out some old role plays. They don't know the half of it. This is way more embarrassing for me than me reading out some very well-written, by the way, because I wrote them, role plays. And I go, because they were ambivalent. Soon enough, they did bring the matter to your attention, and you did remove it at once. But when you posted it a second time, well, it appears that aggravated them. They didn't know what to do the right thing or to do something that would favour you. It wasn't so you lost, Brittany. It was because they were indecisive. I understand how it can appear to you as though you have been ganged up on because they did report all at once, but remember, the staff wouldn't have removed it if it was legitimate. They were just trying to right you, but by warning first and then acting. Why would you have felt better if the staff had crowned it the winner and then Chantal came along and told them it was about her? You would have been disgraced, Brittany. If this was the scenario, that would have happened. Brittany. What would you have told your friends who did nothing about it and couldn't do anything in that circumstance? Honestly, Brittany, what reason would they have to take Chantal's side, who made such a hue and cry over something so small? It wasn't small. It really wasn't small. It was identity theft. What possible benefit
Chantal
do your former friends? That was the point. Sakura announced it. She was mocking Chantal, which, by the way, actually classes as cyberbullying. I'm telling you, Brittany, Laura regrets it. Have you tried talking to her now? So we're moving on to talking about her books. Even so, it's not the only piece you can be proud of. Weren't you happy with the trilogy or the other stories that you've written? Isn't that enough? And if your logic is that these pieces aren't original, why neither is Paper Games, is very closely based to a real incident. If you're so proud of that, then you should also be proud of your other work. And why should you need validation from the publishing world? You've fended for yourself all your life and you shouldn't care about what A, B or C has to say. I have never betrayed your secrets before. I have never betrayed anyone's, no matter the gravity of it, and I'm not gonna start now.
Oh my god.
Who am I?
Yeah, do you know the only thing this is one thing that keeps going in my head is that you guys are 14.
Saff, listen, it was this or join ISIS. Like, come on. I picked this. Was it the right choice? Questionable. But, I mean, we're gonna do this last one, then you can have your final comment and see if you're following the story so far.
I'm a little bit confused, but I'm a little bit there.
Okay. We'll dispel any kind of misconceptions you might have. They didn't tell me to take it down the first time, Chantel did. I only put it back up because I found out she was making up the reason why she wanted it taken down, and I was desperate to win. Turned out she only wanted it taken down because she didn't want me to win. I told them that, yet they clearly didn't care. Chantel doesn't want anything to do with Movellas. She said it herself, so she could come along and say it all she liked. I already told the staff about what she did and what she said to me before. If that had happened, the staff crowning it the winner, then Chantel showing up, I wouldn't have blamed them one bit. It would have been my own problem and I'd have had to deal with it on my own. Shut up, you would have been a little bitch about it, and we all know that. It would be nothing to do with them, just like how it was nothing to do with them in the first place. Chantel didn't deceive them for months. Chantel was honest. Chantel can actually talk to people face to face. She could have put right all the wrongs I've done on that site. She knows it classes as that. She showed me the screenshots of her reporting all the comments to Movellas and the screenshots she sent to the CEOP. I don't know what that is, but it's an abbreviation, so it sounds serious. Child Exploitation and Online Protection Command.
Fucking hell, I didn't expect that.
The Child Exploitation and Online Protection Command? Chantel, bitch, what the fuck? It says
she really didn't want her identity out there.
Parent agency is the National Crime Agency, and the preceding agency is the Pedophile Online Investigation Team.
Oh my god.
And the elected officer responsible is Sergeant Javed, the Home Secretary.
No. Joe, when you Googled that, I was not expecting that to go right way.
Neither was I was thinking like copyright or something. I wasn't expecting the fucking feds.
The Home Secretary.
Sergeant Javed, the Home Secretary. Like, I know I just mentioned ISIS, but I promise I don't know Shamima Begum in the slightest. I daren't. Laura would only tell me to go away, or words to that effect. Besides, daren't. Besides, what's...
That's not a word.
I want to yeet myself. Like, I want to yeet myself as hard as Brittany pretended she was yeeting herself. Like, aside from the other series with Derek where it was, like, painful, this is actually...
This is just funny.
This is hysterical. This is fucking hysterical. I daren't. Laura would only tell me to go away, or words to that effect. Besides, what's stopping her from lying to me? Then once she gets me where she wants me, wham! Right when I least expect it. I didn't add that wham. She put wham in italics. Sending me spiraling back again and again. Honestly, I'm ashamed of the trilogy. If I could change my past, I'd have never written it. Other stories is co-authored. That's my story that she's talking about, by the way. It's abbreviated to ALE, but it was my story, and I removed all of her chapters for things that will come up in future, because she gets so pissy at me for whatever reason. Like, I didn't do anything at this point. This was my excuse to just go guns in a blazing, because she took the L. She took her L and she started throwing it at me. Yeah.
I like that phrase. I'm going to use that.
I had to tell them what Paper Games was about before they noticed, whereas my other pieces were too obvious. I don't give a damn about what the publishing world says, but I just want to have something I can finally be proud of for myself. According to them, however, I'm not allowed to finally be proud of something. I'm worried though. If any of them found out what I really think of them, I'd delete my account. That's 4 days of emails. And this is a bottomless pit, by the way. This is a bottomless pit. Like, after we get through these emails, and I was right, they end in 2015. 2 years.
Oh my god.
And I was still like I wasn't siding with her, but I was still sympathetic until that point.
Yeah.
But the moment that happened, things went dark. A girl got Tati Westbrook off Movellas.
One, I'm slightly confused with the names, but I'm kind of there. Second, I just can't get over the fact that you guys are like 14 and it's this level of drama. And why is this girl so pressed on what other people think about like her stuff when she says she doesn't care? I'm just, yeah.
I have names in here that I have not seen in 7 years.
Oh my god.
I have names in here, like, aside from Brittany, I have, like, friends that I made from years and years and years and years ago. And I'm, like, half thinking about reconnecting with them to send them these videos. Because I think that they would find this hysterical. And I might get some of the details... I might get some of the details wrong, because, bitch, this is old drama. Like, this is old drama. This is a 7-year-old drama. Like, this is a small child's worth of drama. But I am seeing names in here that I have not seen, read, said, heard in 7 fucking years. I hope you're excited for the tea, because there's so much more. Do you want to know how Simon found out about this drama? Because he wasn't involved in it at all. This was, like, before... Well, I think he was on the site, but this was before he and I were friends. The way that he found out about this drama is that I saw him following this bitch, and I was like,
why are you following her?
And he was like,
what do you mean? She writes cool stories.
And I was like,
that girl's a bitch.
What do you mean she's a bitch?
And I was
like, let me tell you this story.
And he was like,
oh my god, you're kidding.
And I was like,
no, this bitch a hoe, leave her now, before she gets you. She's like fucking bedbugs, she does not leave.
I will say that this drama was the foundation for many of my friendships that came out of this site. Many. Moderators, ambassadors, just general users. I made so many friends because I wiped that girl off the face of the platform. She needed to change her whole fucking identity. The level of disdain people had for her is like the level of support that I had when I was going after her. Because here I am with all these emails and all these receipts, and now she's coming for me.
You were like, nah, I'm going right in for it.
Thank you for joining me in this session. I hope you've had a good time.
Me to this madness.
I hope you've had a good time, and I hope everyone at home has as well. I hope that this is a viable series and not too many people are like disappointed in the fact that Derek has left us. I'm sorry, I couldn't put Simon through much more of that. I don't even want to put Saff through that, really. I mean, we might revisit it another time if y'all really want me to go and read Derek's other emails, but it's not worth it. It really isn't. But yeah, I hope that everyone's enjoyed this. And Saff, you got any closing remarks?
One, yeah, you can't do any more Derek because we need to protect your liver. And two, this Brittany girl, man, it's not that deep. It's just not that
I
deep.
could do her, Saff, you don't understand. I could do her so dirty right now. Like, I know her full name, I know where she lives.
Oh my god.
I could do her so dirty, and it's my last shreds of like this like rational baby Faye that I have left over that's been like, no, you know what? Let's just have a little fun. Let's not make this serious. Yeah. We all had our differences, but we all teamed up to take that cunt out. Like, it's a beautiful thing. Friendship is a beautiful thing. So is revenge. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've had a good time. Like, share, subscribe. And thank you for coming on and listening to me talk some nonsense. By the way, we have updated our subscriber target to 5,000 by the end of the year, and
that's doable.
yeah, I think it's quite realistic. Beating out Ali Dao is not realistic for the end of this year, but 5,000.
He has so many. I didn't realise he had that many.
Yeah, it's a surprise. He has so many.
Also, I learned he had a door. I didn't even know that.
All those people must be deaf. They're just they're just watching him on mute, like him shaking his arms around, nodding his head. This isn't okay. You know what? I'm not sitting here to cast shade at Ali Dao. Like, that's not what this video is about. Thank you for watching, and please leave suggestions for what kind of celebration you guys want for when we hit 2,000, because we're not that far off. We're like about 400 odd off, I think. So yeah, keep them coming in, and I'll see you in the next video. You want to say bye?
Bye.